A former Marine returns to show the next level of survival. Even elite US forces train using his methods. This time, he'll build a shelter inside a hollow tree and turn it into a real hideout. Watch closely. This isn't just survival, it's a plan for the future. This bark needs to go. We'll strip it down to the rot, find the solid core. I've got enough for now. Time to head back to the site. Before you watch, hit like and subscribe. When the time comes, not everyone will know where the shelter is. Those who subscribe now will get the coordinates first. Time to clear out this rotten wood and make some space. Let's get to work. I'll dig a small foundation here, right next to the log, for stability. I've got to dig down far enough to be comfortable in the hollow log. It's hard work, but it's essential. All right, that should be enough for this load. Got to move it away from the camp. Time to get this pit deep enough. Steady wins the race. Time to clear this space. Need a solid foundation. Almost there. I found a great spot under this hollow log. Now it's time to clear out some of the forest floor and dig a pit for the base of the shelter. All right, time to move this dirt. We'll need it for the roof. I'm dumping this soil right next to the log here. Good rich dirt. I fed it in. I've got to dig this out a bit more to make it deep enough. I've dug out a good amount of earth. Now it's time to move the soil into a designated area. Got to make sure the foundation is solid before I can build the frame. All right, got it. Push up, just a little more. There, safe and sound. Got to make these walls solid. No roots should be exposed. All right, that wall's looking smooth. Moving to the other side now. The walls are shaping up well. Just need to smooth out this last bit here. Getting these walls smooth is crucial for stability. Got to keep it level. All right, time to level out this section Got to get these walls smooth for the timber. Getting there, looking sturdy. Keep scraping until it's perfectly smooth. Need to get this right before the next step. All right, walls are looking good, nice and smooth. Just a little more here and we'll be ready for the next phase. Pull, push, almost there, up. I've got the logs I need right here in the pack. It's time to start reinforcing the shelter. Time to start framing this out. I've got the first log placed. Now for the second one here. All right, that one fits. Let's grab another for this side. All right, this one goes right across the center. Just got to find the right spot. Perfect. That should hold. Setting the first one in place. Need to make sure it's tight against the dirt. Next one goes right here. Should hold well. All right, fits good. Now for the next one. This shelter is coming along. All right, that's a good start to the wall right there. Solid. All right, just one more here to secure the wall. Looks good. All right, just one more log to secure this section. Oh, there we go, solid. All right, these two logs should be perfect for the main supports. Let's get them into position. Almost through this one. This will be the main support beam. Make sure it's straight. All right, just a little further. Oh, need better leverage. Oh, there, got it. Next piece. All right, here goes. We need this for the frame. Push. Push. Watch the base. Down she goes. Perfect. All right, this tree is heavier than it looks. Need to make sure it falls exactly where I want it. All right, just a little more. Come on. There we go. Keep it moving. Slow and steady wins the race. Just a bit further. I found a good sized log, but it's covered in moss. That's fine, it'll still work. Got to take my time with this. All right, time to strip this dead pine. It'll be perfect for the frame. Just need to get this bark off. I need to get all this bark off to make the log lighter. It's tough work, but it's essential for building the shelter. All right, first one down. Now for the second to build the base. I've made good progress on the notches, just need to finish these two. They have to be deep enough for the support beam. I've got the notch cut, time to clear the shavings. Just a bit deeper, this is where the support beam sits. need to make these notches deep enough for the support beam to sit properly. All right, next rung in place.
Good leverage on that.
Perfect. We're making progress. Almost done with this ladder. Just a couple more rungs. Secure and sturdy. Looks good. Almost there. Solid work on the ladder. Keep the tension consistent as you make your final pass, ensuring the knot won't slip under weight. I've got this rung secure. Now, on to the next one. We need this ladder to be strong. All right, that's one. Need a few more like this for the roof. Rail, I've got the saw position. This is a good piece of timber. Getting a nice rhythm now. This is a crucial firster step. Almost through. This one's ready for the wall. All right, let's get this beam shaped. Looking good. All right, just a few more cuts to even this out. Perfect. On to the next one. Time to square off this end.
Whoa.
One good hit should do it. I've got 3 logs stacked against this wall, and they're holding nicely. Time to add the next ones. Time to add the next one. This wall is getting solid. Another log in place. I've got this one secure. Now to measure the next section. Packing it in tight. Looks good. Solid. All right, just finishing up this layer. Got to make sure it's packed tight to keep the cold out. Dude. Looking good, ready for the roof. I'm just pushing this moss in, trying to pack it tight to create a seal against the wind and rain. All right, that one's solid. Time for the next layer. All right, that one's solid. Time for the next level. All right, that one fits, secure. Need to make sure they're all flush against the dirt. The next one is heavier. All right, that one fits tight. Now to add the next layer. All right, that's another one slotted into place. Nice and sturdy. We're making progress. All right, time to secure this perimeter.
Yeah.
That's one down.
Yeah.
Need to get this one into place. Just above the first, holds tight. All right, that one is solid. Now just one more layer before the cross beams. All right, one more log placed. That's the 4th row complete. Looking good. All right, that's the last one for this wall. Looking solid. You want to really pack this in there to keep the drafts out. Every little bit makes a difference. All right, these next ones go right here. Balcony straw right here. I found a good log here. Now I need to shape the ends. All right, that's the first one. Let's get these others up here. Almost done with the roof frame. All right, that one fits tight. Time for the next one. All right, that one's solid. Now for the next roof beam. Let's get this one into place. All right, next log going on. Careful with that one, looks heavy. Got it, fitting in tight. Perfect. Just a few more. All right, this looks like the last one. All right, that's the last one. That should hold. All right, one more log to secure the roof. Got it, looks solid. All right, moss goes right in here. Seal the gaps tight. Time to set the roof logs in place. Carefully does it. Perfect. Just need a few more. All right, that one's solid. Now to grab another one for the other side. This shelter is coming along nicely. All right, that's another one down. Got to make sure these gaps are tight. Whoa. Just a few more to finish the roof. All right, that one fits perfectly. Need a few more like this to seal it up. Almost through this big one. Just a little more. There, done. All right, first log's in. Time to grab another and get this roof structure built. All right, just need to get through this last bit to start stacking. I'm sealing the entrance with a tarp and some sand to create a better barrier against the elements. All right, filling in this entrance to seal it up. I've dug out the foundation. Now I need to shovel in enough sand to create a solid floor and secure the entrance. I've dug down a couple of feet now. Just need to reinforce the entrance. Keep it tight. This entrance needs to be completely sealed. Almost there. Just a little more to fill this gap. Keep the entrance clear of sand. We need to be able to get in quickly if needed. Back-breaking work, but it's worth it. Almost done here. One more load ought to seal it. I'm spreading a layer of sand over the entrance to help camouflage the pit. Slowly, gently blending it with the forest floor. All right, just need a few more scoops to cover this up completely. Good enough for now. The shelter entrance is looking good, and now for the final camouflage, a nice layer of sand. I'm spreading a layer of sand over the entrance now. It helps to blend it with the forest floor. Got to make sure the sand covers all the corners, keep it hidden. I'm spreading this sand to blend it perfectly with the forest floor. Time to make this shelter a little less obvious. Just need to blend it into the forest floor. I found this old stump, perfect for a base. Let's make the first cut here. I'll place this first log right here. 1, 2. All right, that one fits pretty good. Need one more to close this off. Just about finished here. All right, not bad. Plenty of room. All right, time to secure this base. A few tight wraps, and we'll have our foundation ready. All right, secure the lashings. Make sure it's tight. I'll loop this around here and use the stick to get it tight. All right, just need to secure this last section. It's important the knot is tight so the logs don't shift. All right, these logs should make a stable table base for the shelter. All right, these 3 logs are tied and ready to form the base of our roof. Let's get them into position. All right, let's get this piece cut to length. I've got this section almost cut through. Just a little more pressure should do it. Now to move these pieces. All right, first log is down, good fit. Now the next one. Keep them parallel. That should hold. All right, next one goes here. Keep it straight. Just a little more. Perfect. Another piece for the roof. All right, that one fits. 2 more to go for the main roof. All right, that one's trimmed. Need to get this next one even. Getting there, almost finished squaring these up. All right, that's the first log secured. Now for the second to start building the roof. All right, one more, just like that. Fits perfectly. We're almost there. All right, that one is secure. Now for the next one. We're getting close to finishing this layer. All right, that's the 3rd log. Almost done with the roof structure. Looking good. I've got to cover this entire roof to hide the shelter. Just keep adding more and pressing it down. All right, this knot should hold. Strong and secure. Time to test it. All right, time to fill this gap. Just need to press this down gently to create a good seal. Time to get another batch of moss to finish the roof. Here we go. All right, more moss to cover the gaps. Always to cover the gaps. I'm laying the tarp over the entrance now. Blending it in should make it undetectable. I've got the tarp covering the entrance. Now it's time to camouflage it with the forest floor. Keep piling the sand here. It's going to protect the roof. Time to move this sand. Just need to fill this tarp completely. All right, pile's getting good. Got to secure this shelter. All right, just a few more scoops to get this tarp full. Oh,
Almost there.
yeah, got to make sure we have enough to cover the top. Time to get these logs over to the pit and build the structure. All right, that's one down. Just a few more to go. Just a few more to go. All right, time to shape these ends for the foundation. I've got the first load of these main supports here. They're heavy, but they're solid. I've got the rope. Now it's time to secure the shelter framework. All right, time to secure this perimeter. I'm tying this rope at ankle height between these two trees, perfect for a tripwire. I've got to make sure this rope is secure. It's the anchor point for the shelter. Whoa. Just a few more wraps, pull it tight, and we're good to go. All right, secure the loop here. Yeah. Make sure it's tight against the bark. Okay. Test the knot. Solid. Solid. All right, that should hold. Checking the tension now. Looks good. Time to head over to the pit. All right, that's secure. Now we can proceed safely. All right, just one more knot to hold this line steady. Keep tension. Loop once, through the eye, pull tight, check the slack. All right, that's one side secure. Time to check the tension. I'm just going to place these final logs here. Right. Now to cover the gaps with bark and blend it all with moss and leaves. Completely hidden. Perfect.
All right, that's it. It's hollow. Now we can start carving it out.
All right, just a little more to go. Almost through it. All right, time to strip this log for the framing. This wood's gonna be perfect. Almost done with this section. It's tough, but it's shaping up. Nice work, that looks ready. Just a bit more here. All right, next piece. Got to make sure it overlaps perfectly for waterproofing. All right, finding these curved ones is key. Fit this right here. All right, just one more piece to cover this section. It's fitting nicely, exactly as planned. I'm building up the soil thickness on the roof for better insulation and camouflage. I've got to make sure this layer is thick enough to support the roof structure and provide insulation. All right, time to add another layer of soil to the roof. Keeps it insulated and hidden. I've got a good amount of soil piled here. Need to spread it out for the shelter roof. Time to start the grid. This will hold the thatch steady.
You want to make sure the tension is even on both sides. Get it nice and tight. Solid as a rock.
I've got these two sticks securely tied. Now I'll add the next one to strengthen the roof. All right, so this roof is a simple stick grid, letting in just enough light. Next, we need to add the bedding. Time to start adding the camouflage. This moss should help it blend right in. All right, that looks pretty secure. Another day's work well done. Time to enjoy the quiet. All right, that patch is secure. Next one goes here. All right, time to clear this entrance. Oh, just a couple more logs. All right, safe and sound. Now to see what needs doing next. Time to open this up and see what we have here. All right, that's the first bit down. It should add some insulation. Now for the next section.
Almost done with the flooring here. It's soft and should be pretty warm tonight.
All right, just one more section to finish this flooring. Perfect. The shelter is coming along. Now for the final touch to get comfortable. Setting these logs here will make a perfect table. Yeah, just need to get this one level. Keep these handy just in case we need to replenish the fire later. The shelter's holding up well. All right, time to prepare some food. Got the board, got the blade, and some fresh veggies. Time to prep some fresh veggies for dinner tonight. Got a cucumber, red pepper, and an onion. Time to get some of this pepper ready for dinner. Time for a quick, fresh snack before getting back to work. Jag tror så grej på det typ. All right, time to pull the last of this. Smells delicious. Just about done. I've got the flatbread now. Just need to get it onto the board here. I've got my sauce all spread out now. Time to add the toppings. The shelter is coming along. Time to make some lunch.
Okay, meat down first, then a generous layer of cheese, now some fresh vegetables. A survival feast. Time to add some wild greens. Carefully, you don't want to lose them. A little bit of extra protein for tonight. There, perfect, a masterpiece. This is fresh leafy green, collected right here.
Very much nice.
And some berries to add a bit of sweetness. All right, time for a quick break. We've got our flatbread, and now we add a few berries and this piece of meat to refuel for the rest of the day. Time to roll this up and enjoy the fruits of our labor. All right, time for a quick break and some lunch. All right, time to roll up this flatbread nice and tight. Perfect. I've wrapped this flatbread to go. It's ready to eat as I work. All right, time to eat. After a hard day's work, this is just what I need. Time to refuel. Always carry something convenient. All right, time to eat. That flatbread is ready to go. All right, time to cook up some flatbreads. They're going directly onto the grill. Turn them often, getting those char marks. Perfect. All right, that's the last one. Just have to let them cook now. Time for a little campfire cooking. Nothing like fresh flatbread over an open fire. All right, 2 down. Looking good. Just need to keep them from burning. All right, time to cook up this flatbread. Get it on the hot grill. Should be ready in just a minute. Gotta tell you, this is absolutely perfect.
So good.
Nothing like a meal after a day of building.
This hits the spot.
Ah, that's it. It's done.
Ah. That hits the spot. Back to work.
Time for a little break. This wrap tastes amazing out here. Back to work soon. Ah, good stuff. Still got some work to do, but it's coming along.